Noria, what is your question?
What would happen if there was no life on Earth and Earth didn't exist?
What would happen if there was no life on Earth and life didn't exist? Well, we wouldn't be alive to understand what's going on. So nothing. Do me a favor, Max, close the door. What's another question? Hi, Desiree, do you have an interesting science question?
Science question.
Anything. Okay, while you're thinking.
Why are my fingers crooked?
Why are your fingers crooked?
Look at that. And those are straight, look.
The reason is some biological deformity. So all humans have some deformity, and that's how life changes. Random mutations. That's how giraffes get long necks. That's how we happen to grow hair. That's how flamingos become pink. It's just random. Over millions and millions of years, those random mutations get caught in the genes, not the blue genes, but in the code for building, yes, the deoxyribonucleic acid that gets passed down from generation to generation. Okay, Max.
What is the universe made of?
What is the universe made of? Great question. There are over 250 elements. I think it's about 250 elements. About 99.97% of the matter that is in the universe
Alan Gonzalez, please report to the front office. Alan Gonzalez, please report to the front office.
is hydrogen. The most common element is hydrogen by far. It's the simplest element. The second most common is helium, and after that, the third one I think is, the fourth one is carbon, fifth one is boron, third is lithium. I think the third is lithium. So it's mostly hydrogen, but everything you see is actually nothing, really.
So, like, I'm not looking at you. I'm not
Not
looking,
really.
I'm looking at a blank thing.
Most of the universe is just nothing. It's just empty space. Because there's an atom, and then there's electrons that are buzzing and floating around it.
Luis Rivera, please report to the front office. Luis Rivera, please report to the front office.
And that empty space in between the nucleus of the atom, which is the neutrons and the protons, and the electrons, is all empty space. So the reason why my hand cannot punch through this desk is not because of the matter hitting it. It's actually the electrons, it's kind of like magnets, repelling each other. So technically, we are never touching anything. And if I walked through this wall, or if I walked and hit this wall, eventually I would be able to walk right through it. Because there's going to be some time where none of the atoms are repelled. They can just go right by. But that probability is so infinitesimally small that in your lifetime it would never happen.
Oh, sir, I gotta go, sir.
Okay.
What would happen if the inner core of the Earth would freeze?
That was
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes.
okay. So somebody didn't do the homework last
No,
night.
I did. No, I did.
Okay, but once again, what would happen to the inner core if it froze? All of the plate tectonics, these huge plates. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, they would stop moving. Life would cease to exist.
Are we alone in the universe?
Are we alone in the universe? The answer is no. The answer is no.
We have no clue.
The probability of there being aliens is
1 in 100.
it's very close to 100%. The universe is so big, it's gargantuan, that the chance of there not being aliens is very infinitesimally small. There have to be.
Why you don't go to the NASA?
What?
Why you don't go to the NASA and make a video of you asking that question?
Well, maybe we should. Maybe on the field lesson.
We went to the.
What makes us human?
What?
What makes us human?
What makes us human? The elements or what? Or just like the philosophical question, what makes us human?
The DNA?
Okay, well, there's a bunch of different ways you could
What
approach this
actually,
question.
like, inside us makes us
Okay,
human.
so the elements, the most common element is hydrogen. But most of our body is made up of the element carbon. Carbon is the element that makes up our bones, our hair, our teeth, our cells. That is any organic material, plants, animals, teeth. It's all carbon. Well, not teeth. Teeth is mostly calcium, but carbon. But what makes us human? You could also approach this question with, how are we different than animals? Like,
We're
well,
not.
we are animals, but why are we? How are we different than a squirrel or
We're
an
not,
ape?
because that's why scientists think that we're just the
Well,
evolution
we
of
are.
the evolution of monkeys, gorillas, of fish, any animal.
Yes,
they
and-
actually have pictures of it.
Absolutely, I agree with that. So yes, we've evolved, but we've evolved to be the most intelligent animal. So what makes us so much different? I mean, we obviously are much different than animals. I mean, you don't see any other animals wearing T-shirts. You don't see any other animals visiting the moon on rocket-propelled jets, on spaceships, So I think one of the biggest things that separates us is the ability to communicate in a very highly intelligent way. Now, animals can stick up their tails, then that means danger is coming, or you can hear barks from dogs, but it's not as complicated as me actually telling you and speaking to you, this is how you solve for the volume of a prism. And of course, that gets lost in translation too a lot. But the fact that we can communicate at such a high level, I think our language is one way that separates us from a lot of other humans. Yes?
So
Or
I'm not
animals.
Einstein, but even if I want, what's at the bottom of a black hole?
What's at the bottom of a black hole?
Blank.
My guess is super, super dense matter. That all of matter, because what a black hole is an exploded star, or an imploded star that has used up its fuel, and so it gets imploded, and nothing can escape it. The escape velocity of a black hole is so great that nothing can escape it. So all light swirls into it as well.
Oh.
So I think it'd just be super, super dense matter.
What is a wormhole
What is a wormhole? A wormhole is
of the space?
Of space. In space.
it's basically, it's kind of based on a theory that the universe is like a fabric, and that there are some like black holes and other things that are kind of breaks in the fabric of space, where you can, it's almost kind of like this piece of paper, where if this is the universe and all of the planets and everything are floating, are just kind of resting on this, now the universe can kind of maybe bend like this. So if you were to travel from here to here, it'd be an incredible distance. But there may be, hundreds of millions of light years, hundreds of billions of light years maybe, but there may be some wormholes that are just a small link from here to here. So we may be able to find pathways across the universe that are much faster than going all the way around.
So that's what happens
If you
if
send
something passes the wormhole.
Yes. Is there another
That's
question?
it. And that's it. I had a question.
How much time? I'll go for
8.
8 minutes. Okay, I'll go
What
up to 10.
is going to happen if someone gets frozen?
Cryogenics is the term. This is kind of like, what's that superhero, the guy who fought in World War II, Captain America. Captain America, he was frozen in time, he was a great warrior, and then we unfroze him to fight a lot of our battles. Now, we have the ability to freeze humans, and technically they are still alive. But what happens is, once we heat them up again to try to bring them back to life, they die. So we're pretty good at freezing humans, but not thawing.
So they will die.
Once we heat them up again.
Academy teachers, it is now 5 or
I'll
past
take one more
5:15, so you should be already heading to dismissal. Again, Academy teachers, it is over 5:15, so you should be making your way for Academy dismissal. Teachers, please remember your post so we can make dismissal very efficient today. Thank you.
Ending that it spits it out through the back.
That'd be a wormhole.
No, we said black hole.
Well, a black hole can be a wormhole.
Why do we dream?
Why do we dream? Wow.
I
that's a
remember
really good question.
that you told us, you said that it was because we have images in the back of our head and they're like just coming.
One of the most important parts of sleep is REM cycles, and that REM cycles is where we store, where what we learn during the day gets stored in our head. And so there's a lot, like, when you're asleep, your brain is not off. In fact, it's even more on, especially with my homeroom when it's early, and me too.
Last year's
8 a.m.
homeroom. Last year's
You
homeroom.
guys were so tired. Your brain is incredibly active during sleep, and it's so active during the night, storing memories and recalling all these things, that all of these activities lead to our dreams.
So it can make. But why people walk asleep?
Why do people sleepwalk? Because their dreams are so lucid that it makes them get up and walk around. And
They think
But
it's real.
yeah, and actually, I think I heard this. I don't know if this is quite true or not. But if you die in your sleep, then your body thinks that you're dead. So it's never gonna happen. So like, if you ever had a dream where you're falling and you always wake up before you fall, well, your body sends, like, your heart starts pumping and gets blood fast to your muscles, and so you wake up from a scary dream, like really, tense, right? Or you wake up like, oh, I almost hit the ground, the bottom of the canyon, I was falling. Your body wakes you up because it actually thinks it's gonna die.
Facebook.
I got a good one.
Is that
All
why
right,
we-
last question.
Why do we dream a lot about scary movies? Or like if you watch one and you start dreaming about it like a lot.
Would that be the same for the dream?
Well, I think that's mostly because in our lives, the things that cause us a lot of emotion, and this is everything: being scared, being really frightened, being incredibly happy, being incredibly sad, all of these emotions, we will remember those the most vividly of any memory. So one very distinct, our strongest emotions, we're going to remember the most. So being frightened, we're going to remember the most, and that's something that's going to be stuck into our brain. So when we're sleeping,
Is that
we'll
what?
recall those scary memories. And we will also, when you guys date people and then you break up, your exes will come into your dreams. It happens. Okay, on that awkward note.
Facebook. Okay, I'm gonna find you.
Okay, thanks, man.